Right now, wherever you are warm. You ate today. You will eat tomorrow. You are not being chased. You are not dying of a disease that has no name yet. You have no idea how lucky you are. Because for most of human history, being alive meant something completely different. It meant waking up every morning and fighting just to reach the next one. Today, we are going to rank 5 of the most horrifying periods in human history to have been alive, from bad to almost unsurvivable. By the end of this video, you will never complain about your life again. Let's begin. Number 5. 20,000 years ago, the last ice age. Right now, you are reading this in a warm room. 20,000 years ago, your ancestors were fighting just to stay above freezing. Ice sheets 2 miles thick covered North America, Europe, and Asia. Global temperatures were 10 degrees colder than they are today. Every single day looked like this. Wake up in a cave or a hut made of mammoth bones. Find food, which means hunting an animal the size of a school bus with a sharpened stick. If the mammoth doesn't kill you, the cave lion might. If the cave lion doesn't kill you, a simple infected cut will. There were no doctors, no medicine, no antibiotics. A scratch on your hand could kill you in a week. And yet, somehow, your ancestors survived. Not because life was easy, but because they had no other choice. This is number 5. It gets much worse. Number 4. 10,000 years ago, humanity had a brilliant idea. Instead of chasing animals across frozen tundra, why not stay in one place and grow food? It sounds like progress. It was, and it wasn't. The moment humans started farming, something unexpected happened. Disease. When people live together in permanent settlements, disease spreads fast. Archaeologists have dug up skeletons from early farming communities and found something disturbing. People were shorter than their hunter-gatherer ancestors. Their bones showed signs of malnutrition. Their teeth had rotted from the grain-heavy diet. And new diseases, tuberculosis, smallpox, measles, began jumping from farm animals to humans for the first time. And then there was crop failure. One bad drought, one swarm of locusts, one unexpected flood, and an entire village starved to death while staring at the empty sky. This is number 4. Number 3. The 13th century. If you were alive anywhere from China to Eastern Europe, and you saw a cloud of dust on the horizon, you had about 3 minutes to panic. Then, nothing. Genghis Khan and his Mongol army built the largest land empire in human history. Their strategy was simple: arrive fast, hit hard, leave nothing standing. Entire cities gone, populations slaughtered, libraries burned, centuries of knowledge erased in an afternoon. Baghdad, once the intellectual capital of the world, was destroyed in 1258. The Tigris River ran black with ink from the books they threw into it. Historians estimate that the Mongol invasions killed 10% of the entire world's population. And the world's population back then was already tiny. Think about that. 1 in every 10 humans alive on Earth gone. This is number 3. Number 2. 1347. A ship arrives at the port of Messina, Sicily. The sailors on board are dead or dying, their bodies covered in black, oozing boils. The port authorities order the ships out immediately. It is too late. The Black Death has arrived in Europe. Carried by fleas on rats, the bubonic plague spreads through towns and cities with terrifying speed. You could catch it from a handshake, a shared cup, or simply by breathing the same air as an infected person. Symptoms appeared within days. First, fever and chills. Then, enormous swollen lumps in the groin and armpits. Then, black patches spreading across the skin. Then, death. Within 4 years, between 30 and 60% of Europe's entire population was dead. Entire villages were abandoned, bodies piled in the streets. Priests refused to give last rites because they were afraid to enter the houses. Survivors wandered through empty cities, past houses full of corpses, wondering if they would be next. Doctors could do nothing. They didn't even know what caused it. Some wore long bird beak masks filled with flowers, believing that bad smells caused the disease. They were wrong, but there was nothing else to try. This is number 2. It only gets worse from here. And now we arrive at number 1. Not a war, not a plague, not an invasion. A volcano. The year is 536 AD. Somewhere, historians are still not certain exactly where, a massive volcanic eruption sends a cloud of ash into the upper atmosphere. And then something happens that has never happened in recorded human history. The sun disappears. Not for a day, not for a week. For 18 months, a mysterious fog covers the sky from Europe to China to South America. Byzantine historian Procopius wrote, "The sun gave forth its light without brightness, like the moon during this whole year." Temperatures plummeted. Summer never came. Snow fell in China in August. Crops failed across the entire northern hemisphere. And then it happened again. Another eruption in 540, another in 547. For over a decade, humanity lived in a world without a reliable sun. Famine spread everywhere. Ireland lost half its population. Scandinavia lost so many people that entire regions were abandoned for generations. And then, just when it seemed like things could not get worse, the cold and the hunger weakened immune systems across the entire world, and the Justinian plague arrived in 541 AD, the first pandemic in recorded history. Moving through a population already starving and freezing, it killed between 25 and 50% of the entire world's population. Historians call the period from 536 to 550 AD the worst decade to be alive in all of human history. Not the worst century, the worst decade. Ice, famine, plague, fire, darkness. For most of human history, this was not a list of catastrophes. This was Tuesday. Right now, you have clean water, medicine that actually works, food that does not require you to fight a 6-ton animal to obtain. You live in a moment in history that your ancestors, every single one of them, would have considered a miracle. They froze. They starved. They died of things we cure in 3 days. And somehow, they held on long enough for you to be here. The least you can do is make it worth their sacrifice. This was History Autopsy. If this story made you grateful,
subscribe, because next week we go even deeper. History is always watching.